Well, welcome back. It's mid-November and as you can see it's not good weather for riding. So I thought today I'd do some work on checking out a new lane I found to see if it's legal to ride it. And I thought maybe that'd be useful information for some other people too. So let's go have a look at it. So welcome to my little office. I think most of us can just about squeeze in here and it's at least warm and dry. So here's the story. I was riding down by Kirby Miles the other day and I saw a track which looks like it should be a rideable lane. And I knew it wasn't on the TRF Green Road map because I'm the one who maintains it for North Yorkshire and I knew there weren't any lanes in that area. So I need to have a look at that lane and check the legality of it. And I thought this might be some useful information for other people who are trying to find places they can ride. Obviously the easiest way to find all these tracks is to join the TRF, because then they give you access to their Green Road map, which has most of the off-road routes in the country mapped out there for you. I say most of them, because there are definitely still lanes to be found, as is the case today. So let's get on and have a look at it. So, how do we find these new tracks? And more importantly, how do we make sure we're on the right side of the law by riding on them? One of the first places that you can start to indicate there's a track is by its signage. If a track's got one of these blue unsuitable for motor vehicles sign, then that's a pretty good indication that it is a legal track, and it should prompt you therefore to investigate further. Another good way of finding tracks is to look on the OS maps. But what should I be looking out for? Let's have a look at some of the symbols you might find on the map. If we scroll down to the section on rights of way, we can see that these dotted lines are representing footpaths and the broken lines are bridleways. Neither of those are suitable for motorbikes. But below it here, these green crosses mean a byway open to all traffic, or a BOAT. And all traffic means motorised vehicles, so these are good. The last one that I want to look at is these green circles. It's described as another route with public access. So it's not a footpath, a bridleway or a BOAT, but it does have some rights of way over it. Usually this means some form of vehicular access has existed here, but the map isn't sure of what it was or if it still exists. So again, there's a potential here for a motorcycle route. So let's take a look at some of these symbols on an actual map. So here's an example OS map from the North Yorkshire Moors. You can actually see here there's a track running north to south with the green crosses that indicates there's a BOAT or a byway open to all traffic. So possibly a track that we could ride here. But also on the map, running east to west, are these green circles, which tells us that there's another potential trail with other rights. So we need to investigate a little bit further. Okay, now we've got a couple of candidates here, either from seeing road signs or by searching on the OS maps. Now we need to check if a legal route actually exists there. The truth lies in a thing called the definitive map. This is held by the local council and is a list of all the rights of way in our area. In the good old days this would have meant a trip to the town hall, but nowadays most councils offer online access to the information. Right, here's the North Yorkshire Council online definitive map that I'm going to be using. But you need to find the local version for your own area and check how it displays the information. I'm going to start by removing footpaths from the display as they don't affect our rights. But I want to add in the unclassified roads, as these are mainly dirt roads, but they're maintained by the council and therefore have public access. Let's zoom into the area that we were looking at on the OS map. And we can see running north to south, there's a brown line which is the council colour for a byway. So the council agrees with the OS map that a route exists there. Even more interesting is the green line that runs east to west, indicating that this track is an unclassified road and therefore should have public access. So the OS map and the council definitive map both indicate that our example has two rideable routes. But before we grab our keys and our helmets and rush off, we need to dig a bit further into this. First thing we need to dig into is a thing called traffic regulation orders, or TROs. These are legal restrictions applied to the definitive map, and they can be temporary or they can be permanent orders. Having TROs also means that the status of your track can change from one day to the next. So even though you've been on a route on one day, it may not be a legal route the next day, so always worth checking before you set off. Here in North Yorkshire it can be a bit of a faff to find these TROs, as we've actually got 3 groups that can raise them. In most cases TROs are raised by the local authority, but for roads in the Yorkshire Dales National Park they can be raised by the park authorities, and in the same way in the North Yorkshire Moors National Park they can be raised by the park authority there too. So after a bit of searching I found this. It's a TRO restricting access on the BOAT, and it's a permanent one, and this covers the part of the track that we were looking at. So let's review what we have so far. Although the brown line is a byway open to all traffic, the TRO has closed it permanently, so we can't ride there. However, the unclassified road had no restrictions, so we're going to be okay to use that. One more thing about TROs. When the council raises a new one, they'll often post it at the start and the end of the route to let people know. So keep an eye out at the start of any track that you're going to ride. If there's a piece of paper stapled to a tree or a telegraph post, go and have a look at it. It may be that a TRO has been raised and you're no longer able to ride that particular trail. Okay, we're nearly done. There's just one more check on the legality of our route that we need to make. So let's have a look at another example of a route in North Yorkshire. So here's another potential track. It's got a green line on the definitive map, which means that it's an unclassified road, and there are no TROs recorded, but there's one more check that it has to pass. Back in 2006, the government launched an act called the Natural Environment and Rural Communities Act, or NERC Act, NERC. What this set out was that if a bridleway and an unclassified road shared the same track, then the road could be downgraded to bridleway status, unless it could be proven that the road had been in continuous use by motor vehicles. So let's look at our map again. If we go and turn on bridleways, now we can see that there's a bridleway running on the same route as the unclassified road. What this means is that using the NERC Act, the council will extinguish the vehicular right of way, unless we go through a lengthy process of proving that this track has always been used by vehicles. So in general, if your track shares the route with a bridleway, then there's a strong chance that the vehicular rights have been removed. Another thing just to be aware of. Right, let's go back to the start of this story and the track I saw just outside Kirby Malsyard. So looking on our OS map view, we can see that it's been marked with green circles, indicating that there's some sort of right of way here. If I then turn on the bridleways and the unclassified roads, I can see it's an unclassified road and it's not a bridleway. So further checks on the council website have indicated that there are no TROs on this particular route. So it's time for us to go and have a look at it on the ground. Right, I've had a break in the weather. It's now sunny, but it's really cold. So let's get on and see this new lane. Oh, it is freezing today. So here we are at our subject lane, and you can see there the thing that attracted me to it first of all was the unsuitable for motors sign, which was a good sign. So I'm going to take a look around now for a couple of things. First of all, I'm looking for any signs from the council, and I can't see anything like that. And the second thing I'm looking for is any signs from the locals indicating that they don't want me to ride down it, and I can't see anything like that. So I think we're all good to go. Let's go. So here we are at the finish, only a short lane and reasonably well surfaced. No signs of anything that we shouldn't be down there. Now we're at the end, we'll do the same checks. And I can see there's a posting on the telegraph pole here behind me. So let's go take a look at what that is. All seems to be good. It's just a warning that they're going to be installing some electronic equipment around here. So nothing to do with the lane, that's all good for us. I did worry about the two cones up there, as to whether that was a sign we shouldn't use it, but I can see just over there that the road has been closed by roadworks, and I suspect they've been put there by the roadworks crew to stop anyone with a GPS heading up there with their car when they find the roads closed. So I don't think that's an issue to us. So there you have it, another new lane that we can add to the TRF map. I hope you've enjoyed following along with this, and I hope the information is useful to you in finding lanes in your area. Now it's November time now, and it's freezing cold, and I think it's getting a bit too cold for my old bones to take this. So this might be my last video for the year. So keep yourselves safe and keep yourselves warm. Till the next time.